I hear you. So what a show we're about to have today. You had a conversation with Drew Brees, and we are going to have a conversation with Lil Wayne about his experiences growing up in New Orleans around white cops.
Yes, yes. We're ready.
Boom.
Well done, guys. Got to get that in. You both look very nice. I agree. It's nice to see you guys dressing up for the show. And we do have a packed show, like Skip mentioned. Cannot wait for Lil Wayne, but I do want to get to the latest with Drew Brees after that conversation with Shannon. So last week, Brees apologized for comments he made about not supporting protests during the national anthem. Many of his teammates and players around the league accepted Brees' apology. And over the weekend, Drew called and spoke with Shannon on the phone for about 30 minutes. So, Shannon, do you feel differently after your conversation with Brees yesterday? Please take us into the convo.
Well, Skip, I think it was Saturday that I received a text and said, Drew would like to reach out to you. And I'm like, Drew? Like Drew Brees. I said, okay, when? He says, would it be okay? I was like, sure, no problem. So he gave me, he got my number. I got him. He sent me a text. He's like, hey, man, I would like to reach out to you tomorrow. Is that okay? I text him back. So we kind of started engaging in the conversation, Skip, even before we actually had an actual conversation and getting the gist of what he was thinking, how he was feeling. I let him know what I was thinking, how I was feeling. So he called yesterday, said, is it okay if I call? I was like, yeah, I'm calling from a blocked number, so answer. I know you probably don't answer blocked calls. You're absolutely right. So he called Skip and we started talking. And I said, the floor is yours. You tell me what you're thinking, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking and how, why I reacted the way I reacted. And he says, first of all, I want to apologize. I want to say that I'm sorry, not only just to you, but to the entire black community. He says, I can understand how what I said, going back and looking at it, I can understand the feelings that you guys felt, because it does come off that I lack compassion, that I lack empathy, that I lack understanding. And that's not me. That's not my heart. He just says, if anything, if you know me, Shannon, and you don't really know me well, but we've been around each other, he says, I think you know that I have a good heart and that I've immersed myself in New Orleans since I arrived here. I think 06. He says, so for 15 years, I've been a pillar in the community. And he says, I don't want one bad mistake. I don't want one slip up to ruin everything that I've built. I said, Drew, what you have to understand is that for 1 second, we didn't want you to be Drew Brees. We wanted you to be one of us. We wanted you to feel if that was your brother, if that was your uncle, if that was your father. You're still a married father. You're still a doting dad. But for 1 second, you were black. How would you feel? And he said, and I said, Drew, when you said, fought for the military, you do understand that not only were they fighting in a foreign land for freedoms over there, they were also fighting for freedoms back home. Like the freedom and the pride that you feel when you stand for that flag, everybody does not feel that same sense of pride because they haven't been afforded some of the same opportunities that you and your ancestors have been afforded. He says, I understand that. He says, talking to a lot of my teammates and see the hurt that they felt. I said, Drew, let me break it down to you in a nutshell. What hurt the most is because it came from you. I said, Drew, no white quarterback in the history of the NFL has had black support like you got it. I said, we don't need to get into different quarterback. I said, but other quarterbacks could have said exactly what you said, and everybody would have been upset. But they said, you know what? I expected that from him. I expected nothing less. But given you in New Orleans, what you've done in the community with Katrina, donating $5 million out of your pocket during this pandemic to feed the homeless, the hungry. And Drew said, I said, Drew, why do you think your teammates lashed out like that? Because they couldn't believe that came from you. And after talking to him, Skip, I could feel the pain. And I'm not a guy that's easily forgiven. You got to show me, Skip. And I said, and he said, so what should I do moving forward? I said, Drew, don't issue any more apologies. I said, your first apology, I said, let me tell you what's going to happen. I said, there's going to be a certain segment that says Drew Brees is only apologizing because he got caught in this firestorm. Now, there's going to be another group that says, you know what? I'm looking at his action, and they match his words. He said he was going to do this. He's doing this. You cannot concern yourself about the ones that's not going to be willing to forgive. Skip, I don't believe in a scarlet. I don't believe one incident should there are certain things that can, but I don't believe him saying what he said should be the end of Drew Brees. I believe he deserves an opportunity for redemption because he's been too good in that community for let this one slip up undo 15 years of great service. And that's what I told him. I said, Drew, I'll be here. I said, my criticism was harsh. There's no question about that. And I understand that's probably why you're reaching out. But I wanted you to understand not only the hurt that the community felt, that I felt, because when Skip and I talked about this on Tuesday, the first name out of my mouth is I said, Drew Brees, we need you. I said, Drew, we need strong white men, powerful, influential, like you, to help us get the ball across the finish line. And I said, Drew, I think you understand that. I think the blowback that you got I think it was deserving. But I also believe that you have a great heart, and I believe you will make right about the wrong that you spoke.
Okay. So, you obviously remember last